Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurбhuvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurбhuvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Vinayaka, Vinayaka,
Vinayaka, Vinayaka,
Vinayaka, Vinayaka,
Vinayaka,
Vighna Vinashaka Vinayaka,
Vinashaka, Vinayaka,
Vighna Vinashaka Vinayaka,
Vinashaka, Vinayaka,
Gauri Nandana He Shivanandana,
Gauri Nandana He Shivanandana,
Gauri Nandana He Shivanandana,
Gauri Nandana He Shivanandana,
Parvati Nandana Gajanana,
Parvati Nandana Gajanana,
Parvati Nandana Gajanana,
Parvati Nandana Gajanana,
Mushika Vahana Gajanana,
Mushika Vahana Gajanana,
Mushika Vahana Gajanana,
Mushika Vahana Gajanana,
Modaka Hasta Gajanana,
Modakahasta Gajanana,
Modaka Hasta Gajanana,
Modakahasta Gajanana,
Vinayaka, Vinayaka,
Vinayaka, Vinayaka,
Vighna Vinashaka Vinayaka,
Vinashaka, Vinayaka,
Gauri Nandana He Shivanandana,
Gauri Nandana He Shivanandana,
Parvati Nandana Gajanana,
Parvati Nandana Gajanana,
Mushika Vahana Gajanana,
Shivavahana Gajanana,
Modaka Hasta Gajanana,
Modakahasta Gajanana,
Modaka Hasta Gajanana,
Modakahasta Gajanana,
Vinayaka, Vinayaka.
Sairam, everyone. I offer my loving pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Guru, Sri Satya Sai Baba. Dear brothers and sisters, Sairam to you all, and thank you for joining our satsang this morning. As you know, today's program is part of our center's celebration for Swami's 97th birthday and is in two parts. This morning is the virtual half, for which we are particularly delighted to welcome Dr. Sanjay Mahalingam, who is spending his Sunday evening with us from Prashanti Nilayam. A very special Sairam and welcome to you, Brother Sanjay. Each year, Swami's birthday is a unique and wonderful opportunity for us to reflect on and renew our gratitude to our beloved Guru and the priceless teachings he has imparted by precept and by example. He constantly teaches us that his purpose on this earth was to awaken us to our own divinity, not the divinity we will manifest at some time in the future, but to the divinity and perfection that we already are. This is one of his core teachings, and one that our speaker today, Dr. Sanjay Mahalingam, has absorbed from our divine Guru, and one that he explores beautifully and in depth. Dr. Sanjay Mahalingam completed his MBA in 2004 and PhD in 2008 at the Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning in Prashanti Nilayam. He is currently an assistant professor in the Department of Management and Commerce there. Over the years he spent with Swami as a student and research scholar, Brother Sanjay has been blessed with many personal interviews and interactions with our beloved Lord. Amongst other travels, such as those to Chennai for the Ati Rudra Mahayajnam in 2007, he has had the rare fortune of accompanying Swami on the highly coveted Kodaikanal trips on 3 different occasions in 2005, 2006, and 2007. He was an important part of the famous university convocation dramas of 2004 and 2005. These diverse interactions with Bhagavan allowed him to witness the magnificence of the avatar in its varied manifestations. Having spent a decade in the immediate proximity of such an unparalleled being, Brother Sanjay has had the invaluable opportunity to be able to glean from his experiences with Bhagavan wisdom that is astonishingly simple, yet incredibly profound. Brother Sanjay is also a trained life coach, while his areas of expertise include quality management, operations management, supply chain management, and transformational leadership. Dr. Sanjay is widely regarded as a gifted communicator, a skill that he has employed in transmitting the teachings of our beloved Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. We are truly delighted to have Brother Sanjay join us for our virtual satsang today. I welcome you, Brother Sanjay, and request you to address us. Sairam.
Sairam, offering my loving salutations at the divine lotus feet of all who are present in this gathering, here in the Zoom meeting, elsewhere, wherever it is being streamed. From wherever you are joining us, pranams at your lotus feet. There's really nothing much to say after this beautiful summary that Ramya gave in the beginning. The purpose of our coming to Swami is to live the divinity that we are. Not tomorrow, not in the next second, not even in the next moment, but right now, here. Before we get the next thought, right now, here. To see, to realize, and to live that which we truly are, which in essence is absolutely not different from what Swami is. And that was the very essence of the manifestation of the form which we all revere as Swami, as our Guru, as our Master, as our Mother. And before we proceed, let us do a small, brief meditation. Okay. Please keep the intention of staying with my words. You may sit comfortably wherever you are, however you are. Sit in a very, very relaxed manner. Try to keep your back erect if possible, but the remaining part of the body must be so relaxed as if the body is a corpse. Remove all stress from your body. Except your back, make the whole body as limp as a corpse. Let it all just experience a very deep sense of relaxation. And now, gradually bring your attention to the breathing. Inhale mindfully. And as you exhale mindfully, relax even more. In your own rhythm, which is comfortable for your body, breathe in mindfully, keeping your entire attention on the breath that is moving in and keeping your entire attention on the breath that is moving out. And as you breathe out, relax even more. Continue this process at a speed and rhythm that is comfortable to your body. Breathe slightly deeper than we usually do, but not so deep that makes you uncomfortable. Breathe in with full awareness. Breathe out with full awareness, complete involvement and attention. And as you breathe out, deeply relax. Continue this for 2 or 3 times. Breathe in mindfully. Breathe out mindfully. In this mindfulness, stay with the question, what is here now before the next thought arises? Get yourself completely to this moment. Collapse all idea of time to this moment right now. And as you get more rooted in this moment, if the mind wavers, come back to this moment and ask yourself, what is here now before you get the next thought? And repeat this question and bring attention to this question, to this moment. What is here now before I get the next thought? Pay attention to that endless, timeless, beginningless gap. Stay in that gap. And now in that gap, you may continue to stay there, or if you wish, you may invite the divine presence of Swami to fill that gap. And now you may open your eyes. If your eyes were closed, you may open your eyes. And now let us start. Now, there is a small disclaimer. Some of you may have heard me talk on YouTube, or some of you may have heard me elsewhere, physically here or maybe in the US or anywhere else. So some of what I'm going to say may be something that you have heard before, but that's all right. It's a different evening, different day, a different time. So, before I say anything, I want to start with a small story. Many years back, and I don't know which year exactly it was, but I have heard the story from some of my seniors in the university. Many years back, in one of the Kodai trips of Swami. And this was in that time when Swami was not flying into Madurai. He was actually going by car. And Swami would go in his car, and the students selected to be with Swami in the Kodai trip will be in the bus, which will be going behind Swami. sometimes, on rare occasions, Swami would leave his car and join the students in the bus. And then there'll be all merry and fun and bhajan singing and Swami giving discourses in the moving bus, joking with students. So it was one of those occasions when Swami left his car and he moved to the bus, which had the students. So the empty car with the driver was speeding ahead. The bus with the students and Swami was, following the car. Now, knowing Swami is moving towards or Kodaikanal, in one of the cities on the way, probably I think Madurai, hundreds and hundreds of devotees had lined up the streets, the edges of the streets, hoping to catch a glimpse of Bhagwan and to pay their love and respects to Swami. Now the car was speeding and the bus was speeding. So obviously they couldn't get a glance or get a glimpse of Swami, but they were all bowing down with great love and respect to the car, thinking Swami was in the car. Seeing this, Swami said in the bus to students, you see, this is the power of association. Because of its association with me, that empty car is getting so much respect. And then he joked further. He said, because of my association with you, I am getting no respect. Nobody is bowing down to the bus. Everybody is bowing down to the empty car. Why I am saying this is because in our minds, we create all kinds of associations. Oh, somebody who lives in Parthi must be spiritual. Somebody whom Swami spoke to must be blessed. Somebody whom Swami gave love and affection must be a great soul. We create all these ideas in our head and we create all these associations, and then that leads to a creation of a narration and of a belief in our own minds. All these are just thoughts that we have chosen to believe. Reality is not known and it is unknowable. Reality cannot even be known. We can only dissolve in reality. It cannot even be known. There is really no truth. There is no difference. The differences that we see at all levels and dimensions are just what we see and we believe in it. But really, it is all just a game of associations and neurological pathways that we have created in our head. Reality is not what we think it is. It is simply not what we think it is. Okay, so today my talk, I have structured it in such a way that it will be kind of in three parts. The first part would be the time in my life before I came to Puttaparthi, which was 21 years back. How even before I knew Swami, he knew me, and how beautifully he was looking out and watching over me and all of us. Then we will talk briefly about the time that I spent in Parthi. And then the most important part. What else? Beyond all that, what? So this one was actually a very naughty kid, very mischievous, very uninterested in what generally is perceived as important in life. Education, studies, this, that, So this one from a very young age was extremely mischievous, troublesome, and basically creating hell for parents. So my mother used to be very worried. What is going to happen to this boy? How is he going to make it in life? How and where is this one fellow going to end up? So very, very carefree and mischievous. 1996 June, when this was 16 years old, Swami came in my mother's dream and said, why do you worry? I will take care of your children. Swami said, don't worry, I will take care of your children. That was June 1996. In that same year, December 1996, my mother had a major fracture. She was bedridden. She was sitting. It was 2 p.m. in the afternoon, and my mother was reading a book, Phyllis Crystal book. I think the book was Ultimate Experience, some such book. She was sitting on the bed and she was reading this book. And she was reading this book and she just looked up. And right on the doorway of the room, Swami was physically standing. And obviously, my mother was alarmed. Suddenly, if you see Swami standing there, 1996. And Swami said, your children are my children. I will take care. Stop worrying. Swami said, and he said this in Tamil, actually. Your children are my children. I will take care of them. And then he said, Sanjay, systems management da pannuvan. In Tamil, he said, Sanjay will do systems management. And then slowly, Swami just disappeared. My mom shouted for my dad, and my dad came running. And she said, Swami came. Swami was standing right there. And he said, Sanjay will do systems management. What does that mean? Now, please remember, this is 1996. The world was very, very, very different from what we know today. Okay, very, very different. The word systems, most people didn't even know what it meant, least of all my mom. And my dad is a finance guy, he's a chartered accountant. He also did not know, but he said, systems means, I think, something to do with computers. Management means, I don't know, something to do with MBA or something. That was my father's answer. There was no Google then. You couldn't Google the meaning of the word. So that systems means something to do with computers, and management means something to do with MBA. And that was the end of it. A series of, I really must say, very, very unforeseen, accidental events, unexpected turn of events and twists and turns in my life. I finally actually ended up doing engineering in computer science, followed by an MBA. 15 years after that day, my first designation in the Sri Satya Sai Institute of Higher Learning was Deputy Manager Systems. That was my title, Deputy Manager, Systems. My second designation, which I hold today, is Faculty Department of Management. Swami said this in 1996. 2004, let's fast forward 2004. I was already here for 2 years. 2004, June, Swami told me, call your parents, call everybody in your house. I want to talk to all of them. There was a reason why he said that, but in the interest of time, we'll skip all that. It's a very long story. So everyone came. And as my mom entered the interview room, July 2004, she entered the interview room and Swami said, Dreamla vandu sonne, nere vandu sonne, Baba Babanu sonna poduma, faith irukkanum. Swami said, I came and told you in your dream. I came and told you, directly I came and told you. It is not enough to say, Baba, Baba, you must have faith. And then Swami said, now physically, face to face, I am telling you, your children are my children. I take responsibility of your children. Don't worry. Why I am saying all this is, we think that we came to Swami on a certain date where someone told us about Swami and we came to know of this divine being living in Puttaparthi, and then we started visiting Prashantanilayam, and then we started building a bond with Swami, and then we became Sai devotees. Our bond with Swami is very, very ancient, more ancient than we can understand. I, for one, know for lifetimes, the energy that we call Swami has been guiding my steps. And even in this life, even since I was a boy, and even since I did not even look to Swami for protection, I did not even acknowledge his presence, even then he was already watching over me, guiding me, guarding me, and finally, ensuring that I reached Puttaparthi. I'm intentionally not saying reached him because there is no reaching him, but I reached Puttaparthi. And the first time I was alone with Swami on the 17th of February 2004, one day before that year's Shivratri. 18th February was Shivratri, 17th February 2004. First time in my life, I was alone with Swami. I had interviews, but they were all group interviews. The first time, it was just Swami and me in the room. Swami took me to his personal interview room. There is an interview room, and within the interview room, there is another small room, which is a private interview room. Swami took me there. And the moment I was alone with Swami, Swami hugged me, kissed me, and I hugged him back. And Swami broke down. And he said, I have been waiting for this chance for so long. I thought that was supposed to be my dialogue. And Swami said, I was waiting for this chance for so long. Swami, or the energy that we call God, is seeking us with a love and intensity and completeness far greater than the intensity and love with which we are seeking that. That is looking to us with a gaze far firmer than the gaze with which we are looking to it. That is rushing towards us with a love that cannot be described much more completely than we are walking towards it. That day when Swami said, I was waiting for this chance for so long. That time I did not understand what does it even mean. But over the years of reflection, contemplation, meditation, gradually it is beginning to dawn on me that who we are truly, the divine principle, the love, the joy, that which cannot be described, that which we are, is trying to swallow that which we are not, with a love and completeness that is indescribable. So that day I realized how our bond with Swami is so ancient and so old and so timeless. Now, this is Swami's assurance. If you look to me, I look to you. I am only waiting, just waiting for you to reorient your vision. Just turn inward and say it once with your heart, Swami, I surrender. Whoever I am, whatever I am in this moment, I surrender. Instantly, he becomes ours and we become his. Why I am saying this is when people share these kind of experiences, in no way anybody should get that this is some kind of an exclusive club, because it is not. I personally know of people who have never been to Prashant Nilayam. I personally know of people who have never in their lives seen the physical form of Swami. Their first connection with Swami was post 2011. I know people who have heard of Swami only after post 2011. And all they have is a few dreams. Post 2011. And Swami is guiding them and guarding them with such a love and aiding their spiritual journey with so much involvement in their lives. And they feel so connected to Swami, having never seen him physically, having never heard his voice, and having known him only after 2011, the bond, the connection, the love, the unity they feel with Swami. They just turned to Swami and he made them theirs. So we just have to turn to him, and there he is. So after all this, 2002, I came to Swami. I came to Puttaparthi. I joined the Sri Satsai Institute of Higher Learning for my MBA. Then I did my PhD. And then after 3 years of completion of PhD, I was just really hanging around in Puttaparthi. Swami said, wait, I will tell you. So when Swami tells students, wait, I will tell you, you just wait. You just sit for darshan, you just wait. And then finally, I joined the university as a faculty. Now, during my stay with Bhagwan, there were some very sweet moments. There were many challenging moments. Spiritual journey is very rewarding, but not always very pleasant. Sometimes reality can be a little unpleasant. But in all these years that I spent physically next to Swami, there were some, in fact, many, very, very beautiful, intimate, fantastic, and uplifting moments. Let me share some of those what is usually called as experiences. One day in 2004, I was sleeping in the senior boys hostel, Sri Satyasai Institute of Higher Learning. That is the place where the students of Swami, the men students of Swami, college students live. Senior boys hostel, Sri Satyasai Institute of Higher Learning. So I was, of course, living there, and I was physically sleeping in the dining hall. Just because it's more airy and more cool, they just allow cool. By cool, I mean temperature-wise. So they just allow students to sleep in the dining hall. Because we have a dormitory system, sometimes it can get a little crowded. So I was sleeping in the dining hall. Sleeping in the dining hall, I dreamt. Around 4 a.m., I dreamt. And what was the dream? The dream was that Swami has come to the hostel in his car. It was such a real and such a vivid dream, a very strange dream. Too vivid to really, sometimes I wonder, was it actually really a dream? But I think it was a dream because I was asleep. And in the dream, I dreamt that Swami has come to the hostel early morning, just as it was in reality. And Swami entered the dining hall where I was asleep. In my dream, Swami entered the dining hall in his car. And I woke up. It's a big dining hall, and Swami's car was slowly cruising in the dining hall. And I woke up. And Swami looked at me and said, shh, don't wake up anybody. And in his eyes, I understood he is telling me, I have come only for you. Don't wake up others. Everybody will mob me. I just came for you. So I said, okay, Swami, and I got up and I followed Swami's car. Swami's car came to the one entrance of the dining hall and exited the dining hall from the other entrance. And then next thing I know, I'm sitting with Swami in front of the water cooler of the hostel. Water cooler is just a contraption. It basically filters the water, cools it, and then you can press a button and basically you can, drink water. That's kept in the corridor of our hostel. Swami was sitting on the parapet wall, tiny parapet wall in front of the water cooler. And I am sitting at his feet. And Swami said, I'm very thirsty. Give me water. So I take a tumbler, I fill it with fresh cold water, and I give it to Swami in my dream. And Swami said, you give. And with my own hands, I fed water to Swami. Swami did not take the tumbler from me, but from my own hands, I fed water to Swami directly in his mouth. And the dream was over. Very, very blissful dream. I got up and it was around 5 a.m. or so, and my cheek was fully wet with tears. And I just got up for 45 a.m. or something, and I was just sitting like this. Wow, what a dream! What a dream! Such a darshan. What a fantastic darshan. The dream got over, and the morning schedule, the students have suprabhatam, jogging, this, that, everything got over. 7:30 a.m. I was sitting in the Kulwant Hall. In reality now, I'm sitting in the Kulwant Hall, and Swami comes for darshan. Swami calls me for an interview, and I walk in the interview room. Now there are 3 people in the interview room: Swami, me, and another gentleman who used to push, not push at the time, Swami was still kind of walking, who used to walk behind Swami. A gentleman called Rameshwar Prushti, he was there behind. 3 of us were sitting in the interview room. And Swami was just chit-chatting something. And for those of you who have seen Swami, there's always a stool next to Swami with a silver tumbler. And that silver tumbler has water. And Swami can anytime ask for water. And whoever is closest to that stool picks up that water, hands it to Swami, and Swami consumes the water. This is how it is always. Always there is a silver. Even in your samitis, you must always be having next to Swami's chair a tumbler of water. So that was the situation. We're in the interview room, and Swami looked at the tumbler. And we know Swami is asking for water. He doesn't really have to ask. Those who are around Swami, they just understand his gestures. Instantly, I kneeled down, I took the tumbler, and I held it like this to Swami. I was on my knees, and I held it to Swami. Swami asked for water, but then he's not moving his hands. He is just sitting there looking at me. And I am holding this glass of water, not knowing what to do. He asked for water. I am handing him the water, but he is not extending his hand to take the water. And I am sitting there, and he is looking at me, and I don't know what to do. And those 2 or 3 seconds seemed like a yuga. And I was just sitting there wondering what to do. I can't keep back the water because he asked for it. And I'm holding it, and he's looking at me and looking at each other. And suddenly I remembered the dream which I had just that morning, just 3 hours back. Just 3 hours before that I had, and I gave water to Swami directly in his mouth. And Swami drank half the tumbler, and I kept the glass back. The other gentleman was very confused, but Swami and me knew what happened, and Swami just looked at me and kind of winked, and gave a very mischievous smile. It was so wonderful an experience, of course, because of the whole sweetness of the episode, but also because it opened me to the beautiful transition from dream to deep sleep to wakefulness. And we consider these are different states, but one who meditates deeply will realize in himself or herself that there is always something that is awake, which some scriptures call the 4th state, etc., etc. Whatever words we choose, there is a thread that runs through all states of consciousness. Swami once told me, he has told this to hundreds of thousands of people, thousands of times. One of those times when he told me, I will always be with you. That day I remember going back to the hostel and thinking, is Swami with me when he is asleep? Just that, monkey mind, I had this question. Swami said he's always with me. Is he with me when Swami is asleep? Is he with me when I am asleep? Well, that's understandable. But when he is asleep, who will protect me then? Is he still with me in that moment? Gradually, over years of meditation and because of experiences like this, where the interface between the 3 states of consciousness suddenly seems more nebulous than, suddenly it seems very foggy. Where dream ends, where wakefulness starts, where you slip into deep sleep, suddenly you don't know. It looks like just one ocean of experience. And the one who knows his reality, he is ever awake. There's a reason why we call them ever awake, because they are one with that thread which runs through all states of consciousness. So, of course, the sweetness of the experience, but that apart, when the boundaries of dream and what we call wakefulness almost merged, the dream ended in the very same day, within 3 hours, this happened. So it was one of those beautiful moments. We just have a limited time, so maybe one other experience. One day in 2010. So the brief story for this is 2008 November, I finished my PhD. 2008 November convocation, I got my doctorate from Swami. 2008, I asked Swami, what should I do? I have my PhD now. Swami said, wait, I'll tell you. So when Swami says, wait, I'll tell you, you wait. Then you don't open your mouth ever again. When Swami says once, wait, I will tell you, it is like an understood code for students. We never ever ask Swami again. Once it is said, wait, I'll tell you, you simply drop everything and wait. Simply hang around. Just become for darshan, sing bhajans, sing, be there. But we never ask again, Swami, remember you told me that day to wait? I waited for 3 months. What now? No, no such thing. You simply wait. There have been instances when students like this have finished their education degrees and have waited for 6 years, 7 years, 10 years, 11 years. Simply waited. Because 11 years back, Swami told them once, wait, I'll tell you. I didn't have to wait for 11 years, but it was a good 3.5 years. So I finished my PhD and I asked Swami, what should I do? Swami said, wait, I will tell you. And I started waiting. No job, no money at all, just a PhD. I was already, 28 years old. So you don't feel comfortable asking your father for money. So I had some money, some fixed deposit, something. So I used to get an interest of 7,000 or 8,000 rupees or something like that per month, which is what? $100, probably less than $100. I used to get per month. The world was much simpler then. It was more than enough to live comfortably. Not even 8,000. I think it used to be 6,000 or 7,000. So we were living comfortably in Patti. That was the situation. And that was the totality of my monthly income. And life was going on like this. One day in 2010, the month had just started. It was just 2nd or 3rd of the month. And I had an unavoidable expense. So it was like this. I was literally living from hand to mouth. By the end of the month, all my money will get over. Then again, I will get the interest. And again, it was literally from day to day. That month, beginning of the month, there was a huge expense and I had to spend some 4,000 rupees or something like that. And I was left only with 2,000 rupees. Now it was only the 3rd or 4th of the month. And I was left with just 2,000 rupees in my bank. And I said, oh my God, now how am I going to live? How am I going to pay my rent? How am I going to get food? And I don't want to ask my father for money. What do I do now? That day, after about 1.5 years of waiting, I suddenly felt very angry at Swami. I'm like, what the hell? I have a PhD. I have people inviting me to come and work with them from all over the world. This is how the ego works. And here I am sitting for you. You just told me to wait. It's 1.5 years. I've been just waiting with the PhD. I'm almost beginning to forget what my PhD was about. And I'm just sitting here singing bhajans morning, evening. And you are just sitting there looking at me every day, talking to me everything other than what I should do from now. What is going on? What should I do? And there was something else. I was not even going to the Kulwant hall that regularly in this. I probably come to that later. And I was just sitting and thinking what to do. What is this? And I was very angry and very frustrated. And I said, Swami, this is not done. This is so unfair. Tell me something. What is this? What's the meaning of all these egoic questions? Why did you ask me to do a PhD? If this is what you want to do with me, blah, 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 blah. And I was giving it to Swami nicely. And I said, this is, I was very disturbed at the turn of events, and I was even more disturbed at my disturbed state of mind. So when you're really disturbed, what do? You sit. You sit quietly, offer your anxiety at the lotus feet and ask for connection and ask for guidance. So that is what I did. I lit the lamp, sat, tried to meditate, quietened the mind, stilled it, and offered it to Swami. This is what it is. The anxiety, the disharmony, the disturbance, this is what it is. And the whole of it, I offer to you. And I just sat. Probably half an hour, 1 hour, I don't remember. And at the end of it, I got up. My whole state had changed. My heart was filled with gratitude for all that he gave me, for all that he did for me, for all that he made accessible to me, for all the countless centuries of guidance and love and hand holding that he had given me. My heart was filled with gratitude. And there were tears rolling. And I said, thank you, Swami, thank you. And those days, India still hadn't caught up with online banking and all that. We used to have an ATM slip. I don't know if it is still there. I mean, ATMs are there, but I don't know if you use it in US. We had this ATM slip. So I had checked, that's how you check your balance. So my ATM slip was in my wallet, which said available balance 2000 something, 2014 or 2015 rupees. So what did I do? I just took a pen and I added 1 0 at the end. So it was 2000 rupees. I added 1 more 0 and made it 20,000. So 200. And I took a pen, added 1 more 0. And now the available balance looked like 20,000 rupees. And I said in my joy and gratitude, Swami, this is how I'm going to live. So long you have held my hand through thick and thin. Are you going to leave me now? You won't, I know. This is all just drama, just psychological drama, egoic manipulations of the mind. There is nothing to worry. So long you have held me through thick and thin. Are you going to let go of me now? So I just added 1 more 0 and I'm just going to live as if I have 20,000 rupees. The next day morning, I started cleaning my cupboard. You know, one of those when you really clean, deep cleaning. And I removed all my clothes and, rearranging everything. At that time, I suddenly found an old looking envelope right under the pile of my clothes. There was an oldish looking envelope. And I had no idea what that envelope was. I removed it and I opened it. And there were crisp currency notes. And I was thinking, what is this? Who kept this money here? What is this money? And I took out and I started counting the money. And there was exactly 18,000 Indian rupees. So 2,000 in my bank and 18,000 cash it in hand. So now my available balance was exactly 20,000 rupees as I had drawn with the pen. I was unbelievably aghast. And I was thinking, what is this money? What is it doing in my cupboard? And I could not remember. And then suddenly I remembered. Just when I was starting my PhD in 2005, I was just starting my PhD. Swami one day called me to the interview room. And that day, he said, these are the very words he said. He said, I don't want you to ask anything from your father. I am your father and your mother. Whatever you want, you come and ask me, I will give. He was telling it in the context of my impending PhD work. He said, I don't want you to disturb your father. I am your father and mother. You come to me, whatever you want, I will give you. And then he reached out from the side of his couch and gave me this envelope and said, keep this. Don't use it now. Someday you will need it. He gave it and said, don't use it now. Keep it. Someday it will come handy. And as is the usual practice, and there's a reason for that, but in the interest of time, we'll skip that. I had kept it right under my pile of clothes and completely forgotten about it. Because I never used it. I never needed it. At that time, there was a small stipend from the university. So that was enough. I was living in the hostel. So there was no need for that money. I never used it. And over the years, I forgot about it. Now look at the awareness of the Lord. It was so amazing. He said, I don't want you to disturb your father. And that was my thought that day. Oh God, I'm going to have to ask money from my father now. And he said that day in 2005, I don't want you to disturb your father. And then he said, don't use it now. One day it will come handy. 4.5 years later, 2010. That's love. So like a mother, like a father, and more than anything, like a guru. Swami guided his students, guarded them, reprimanded them when required, made their life hell when that was the only way. He did everything that he could so that we can remain steadfast on the path of truth, the path which the Upanishads call as sharp as a razor's edge, which Buddha called the middle path, so that his property stays on the path of truth. So these are the ways in which he guided us, guarded us, and
Sairam, Brother Sanjay, I think we've lost your audio.
can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Sorry, how long have you lost?
Just literally 10 seconds.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
No problem.
Getting a pop-up that says my connection is unstable, but now it's fine.
We
Fine
can
now
hear you
with
very
the
well
audio?
now. Yes, we can hear you perfectly.
All right, thank you. So yeah, so I was saying over the years with more focused sadhana, meditation, etc., I have begun to realize that all this emotional beauty, the connect with Swami, all the memories that we have of Swami, when I came to him, what he did to me, what I did to him, what he said, what we said, what happened on this day, that day, all that is nothing in comparison to one timeless moment of total deep connect with the divine energy that we call Swami. All the psychological aspects of our relationship with Swami, by which I mean everything that is the mind, the whole of it is like a candle before the sun. I know we as devotees tend to give a lot of importance to the aspects of Swami's life. You know, he was born here, he went here, he did this, he did that. I came to Swami, he got me this, he got me my education, he got me married, he gave me my children, he gave me money. Oh, and he saved me from this, he saved me from near death, this happened, that happened. And we have millions of devotees with thousands of experiences, running into literally billions of experiences. And we think collectively all this explains what is Swami. Collectively all this is the totality of the love that he is. But I am suggesting to you, only suggesting, all this and more, all the experiences we have heard and all the experiences we have not heard, the whole of it is like a candle before the sun. Here by sun, I mean 1 second of timeless, one timeless moment of total connection, of total intimacy with the divine principle. It is worth 1,000 births to just feel absolute, timeless intimacy and connection with that which is always throbbing within us. And to create the thirst for it, and then to quench that thirst. That was Swami's work. And that has been always his work. And in this, for a brief time, he took a form. Before the form, his work was still on. After the form, his work is still on. In this timeless game. For a brief moment, he donned a form. This was kind of the third part, so to say, of my journey with Swami. In 2009, January, Swami finished darshan and he came and he called me for the interview. 3 people were there again, Swami, myself, and Mr. Isaac Tigret. All 3 of us were sitting, and Swami looked a little sad. And he said, I come for darshan, and as I move, by then Swami was completely on the wheelchair, and as my chair is pushed, and he is saying this to us, he said, devotees are going like this, their heads are moving with me. Which is obvious because people are sitting for darshan. So, as I am moving, people are like this, they are following me. And Swami said, I feel sad that all these people are still thinking that there is something here, he said, pointing to himself, that there is something here that is not in them. Swami said, all these people, I'm very sad that all these people are still thinking that there is something here that is not there, means that is not in themselves. And then he looked at me and said, you don't do this mistake. Don't come. This form is temporary. Don't come. By don't come, he meant don't come for darshan. And I was, oh my God, that's the only life I know. Get up in the morning, have a shower, come and sit in the Kulwant hall. Go back, and because I was also waiting for Swami's instruction after my PhD, I didn't know any other life. Go back, do whatever has to be done, come back in the evening, sit again, have darshan. And Swami said, don't come. And I thought Swami is just saying these things just as a manner of teaching. And I said, okay, Swami. And I left the interview and I continued coming for darshan. After some days, Swami again said, why are you still sitting here? I told you that day, don't come. I'm always with you. And that day, I got worried. I thought, oh my God, Swami is serious. It's a big change. And suddenly, I can't come. Now Swami is serious. First instance, I thought, well, Swami is just saying something. And now I thought, oh God, this is serious now. And now I was like, oh no. And then, of course, gradually, I stopped coming. April 2009. I heard the last words that Swami ever spoke to me, physically. I still remember the day clearly, 2009, April. I was sitting in the veranda. Swami came in his wheelchair. By the time he was quite feeble already. He came feebly, he extended his hand towards me. I went and held his finger. With the little physical energy he had, he clasped my fingers and he held my finger tightly, as tightly as he could. And he just said, why are you afraid? I'm here. That's it. Those are the last physical words I heard from Swami, and after which I kind of stopped coming to the Kulwant hall. I think I came only 2011. And Swami's that body was kept. This started what I might call another phase of a beautiful journey with Swami, where now it became all about not going to him, but bringing him to me. Bringing him to this moment here and now, either through wisdom or through awareness or through devotion or whatever, however, that's not important. The point is, how do I make him alive here and now in me? How do I make him alive? The journey became about that. And of all the wonderful things that Swami has done for me, if I put everything on one side of the balance. And just this on the other side, his blessing from within, which enables me to turn my attention inward, and I close my eyes and the world disappears. Mind is quiet and the mind is completely immersed in the divine presence which reverberates in the heart. This ability to turn the vision inward and keep it inward. This is the most beautiful gift of my Guru. More valuable than everything else he may have done for me in countless lifetimes. Just this one thing is more precious than everything else. And for this, I'm truly grateful to the one who shines in my heart and pulls me from within, continues to pull me from within, pushes me from outside and pulls me from within, pulls all of us from within. So this has been my journey briefly. I have about 10 minutes more of talking time. There were a few beautiful things Swami said, in those years I was with Swami, which kind of became like the foundation on which I was able to build my sadhana. In 2006, in Kodaikanal, one day after the evening bhajan, Swami came and sat in the hall, in the drawing room of Kodaikanal, of Sai Shruti. There were students, some 20 odd students. There were some 7 or 8 VIPs. And Swami asked a question suddenly. Who am I? Swami said, who am I? And answers were flying thick and fast. Somebody said, Swami, you are the embodiment of love. Swami said, no. Not impressed. Then many answers were given. Everybody was having a shot. Swami, you're this, you're that. Don't know pata. No, shut up, buffalo. No. And somebody said, I know who said, I still remember, but forget who said. Somebody said, Swami, you are Paripurna Avatar. You are the complete incarnation of the divine. And Swami said, hey, adi kade kadu. That I am definitely not. Swami said, rubbish. He didn't use the word, but that's what he meant. Shut up. Kade kadu. Now we had run out of answers. And then Swami triumphantly said, Nene, Nenu. I am just I. That's all. I am just I. He didn't say this. I am saying this now. Over the years of my reflections, I realized we want to continue to play the game of labels. We want to label everything. The mind is always, as Swami used to say, mind is dividing. Mind is only pieces. Heart is piece. So mind is always dividing everything. This is good, this is bad. This is pure, this is impure. This is spiritual, this is worldly. This is man, this is woman. This is correct, this is incorrect. This is wise, this is virtue. This is day, this is night. This is birth, this is death. And it wants to play this game of labels, always telling itself, I know, I got it, I understood. And live in this fool's paradise of knowing. So the mind thinks, I know Swami. Oh, he is divine love. Oh, this, that, throwing words and phrases. But really, what is Swami? And Swami said, Nenu Nene, I am I. And then, of course, Swami went on to explain on that very day that this was the sadhana Buddha did. Gautama, before he became the Buddha, Swami said for years and years he traveled around that area and trying to imbibe all kinds of spiritual practices, and in untold suffering he put himself through to realize the divine. He could not do. Finally, exhausted, one day he sat under the tree, which is now the famous Bodhi tree, and he said, I will not get up until I realize myself. Even if this body dies right here today, I will not get up until I realize the truth. And then, Swami said, you know what he did? he asked himself, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Answer came to him, Nenu Nene, I am I. And that is how Gautama became the Buddha. So we also are very fond of creating labels about ourselves all the time, believing the thoughts that mind creates, believing the stories that it weaves of reality, buying into the mental, psychological versions of reality and generating our life experiences from those versions of reality. But sadhana starts and ends with looking at reality as it is. Not believing anything, not buying into any version of reality, but having the courage and the attention, incisive attention, steadfast attention to look at reality as it is. Then we will see the veracity of Swami's statement, Nenu Nene, I am just I. I am what I am. And then we will realize everything is just what it is. This whole universe and beyond, any moment, it is simply just what it is. And then the totality, the perfection of totality will become our lived experience. And then we will understand when the scripture says Purnamadah Purnamidam. That is complete, this is complete. Slowly we will start to see, not as an intellectual concept, but as a lived experience, the perfection of totality here and now, because everything is simply as it is. All this starts from first seeing ourselves as we are, Nenu Nene. In 2009 also, another end of 2008 or probably beginning of 2009, I asked Swami this question, some question I asked, some spiritual question. Swami said, any answer the mind generates will lead to more questions. More and more questions. Any answer the mind, at the mental level, when we try to answer questions, the mind will generate 1,000 questions from an answer. And we try to answer those 1,000 questions, those 1,000 answers will lead to 1,000,000 questions. Then Swami said, drop all questions. Fill your mind with one question. Who am I? On a different occasion, in 2006 or so, Swami said, exact words, there is no higher tapas. There is no higher tapas. This is the exact word Swami used. There is no higher tapas than watching the coming and going of the I thought. So like this, I remember on another occasion, I was aware that a new chair had arrived for Swami. Some devotee had sent a nice, comfortable chair, a throne or a chair where Swami could sit. And I knew it was kept in the inner interview room. I knew this fact. So one day Swami came and Swami gets gifts. Sometimes he gets very excited like a small child. I still remember Swami, one UK devotee from UK had gifted Swami some toothbrush. They were made of peacock feathers. I think so. I was told so. And they are very soft. So Swami had a bunch of them. It's such a cute moment. And I was in the interview room and Swami was holding these toothbrushes, peacock feathers. And Swami was very excited. See what I got. Then Swami said, Tumko chahiye? Then he started handing me that toothbrush. And Brother Satyajit, who was taking care of Swami at the time, was there. And he looked at me from behind Swami and said, don't take, because this is for Swami. Swami will give it to you, but Swami uses these. I said, don't take. And then I said, no, Swami, thank you, Swami. I don't want, Swami, I don't want. He said, no, take one, he told. I no, Swami, I don't want it. Then Swami kept. So Swami gets very excited about gifts, like a child. And the Swami was very excited that day and he came to his entry room. 3-4 of us were sitting. And Swami said, he sat down and then he said, where is my chair? I said, Swami, it's inside this room. Shall I get it? Shall we get it? You would like to see it? Swami said, where is my chair? Again. I said, Swami, in this room, a little louder. I thought maybe Swami didn't catch what I said. Swami, it is in this room, Swami, right here. Shall we go and get it? Swami said, where is my chair? Then I knew something is not right with my answer. And I just looked blankly at Swami. This time I didn't say anything. Then he held my collar like this, just like how I'm holding. He held it like this, pulled me close. And with his index finger, he pointed at my heart. He poked at my heart and said, here is my chair. Here is my chair. So, like this has been the beginningless and endless journey with the divine. And I'm sure each one of you have even more beautiful experiences and stories to tell, and even more beautiful milestones in each one of your spiritual journeys. As I always like to say, I'm here to describe, not to prescribe. I'm not here to tell you what you should do or not do. I can tell you what I did, what happened to me, what I did, and how things turned out. And if in this story, if there is anything valuable to you, you can pick it up. If it is not, you can ignore it. So, yes, this was very briefly how things have been. That is exactly 1 hour now. We started at 8:41 p.m. IST. It's now 9:42 p.m. And yes, I'm open for questions if there are any.
Brother Sanjay, thank you so much for such a wonderful talk. I know that, I've heard many of yours before, and I really appreciate the way that you describe your experiences before Prashanti, and then with Swami, and then of Swami. I think that's such a beautiful way of putting it. Thank you so much for taking us through your journey. It was lovely. I am going to, Mohan Kumar and I are going to be moderating the question and answer. We have some questions on the YouTube chat, but I'm going to get us started with a question for you first. And that is that, you spoke very beautifully about the way that we build up these sort of constructs in our own heads, just with our thoughts. And just the process of getting from that thinking place to the experiencing place. Can you expand a little bit more on that? Because I know that I have also heard you say that, at one time in 2004 or 2006, Swami essentially told you to throw away all of your books and other scriptures and so on, and concentrate just on the single question that you had outlined, who am I? So can you just kind of expand a bit more on that journey between the thinking of who am I and the experiencing of it?
Yeah, okay, thank you. So yes, it is, the whole journey is just 5 inches. From here to here. This 5 inches takes thousands of lifetimes. It's really just 5 inches. Right now, you can physically feel your energy circulating in the head. That's why we say, oh, that guy is so much in his head. And spiritually, what do we say? You have to enter your heart. It is really physically, you can feel in your body. The energies will get centered near the what is called the Anahata Chakra, or the heart center. It's just literally 5 inches, and it takes 50,000 lifetimes to travel these 5 inches. So how do we translate from thought to experience? Experience is a dangerous word. I try to avoid it because experience comes and goes. Even spiritual experiences, meditative experiences, I would rather use the word clarity. clarity comes and grows. It never goes. So clarity is beautiful. Experience is valuable. It's interesting. But clarity, experiences is like a firecracker in Diwali. Spectacular. But you can't read your book in that light. For that, you need a constant, steady light. However spectacular a fireworks show, it cannot give you light. For light, you need light. So clarity over experience. Now coming back. The most important thing which I have realized over the years is to start from a place of I don't know. Why we don't get a deep clarity of who we are is because our head is so full of the ideas that we have believed in unconsciously. So many things we have believed to be true about life, about Guru, about God, about ourselves, about this, about that, about so many things we have believed. So the mind is always trying to create this bubble of, I know, I figured it out, I got it, I understood, oh, I got it, okay, oh, this is how it is. And that is where the spiritual process stops. So we have to truly come to a place of, I don't know at all. And when the mind starts to find harmony in this thought, I don't know. Instead of finding fear, it starts to find harmony and beauty in this thought, I don't know. That means you're on the path. Then it's really only a matter of time before the mind gets drawn to the heart. When the mind starts to find joy in not knowing. There is a thrill in not knowing, because in not knowing, there is constant exploration, revelation, and realization. All this becomes impossible when we sit in a place of I know. Now, this can come through a dramatic experience, but generally when we start questioning our thoughts, sincerely when we start looking at our mind, and we see that every thought is just a thought. It's like once a friend was telling me, hey, this person looks so happy. I said, how do you know? Well, look at his WhatsApp DP. How do you know? This is how much we live in delusion. Everybody puts a happy. A thought is like that. It's a snapshot of reality. It is not even that. But we rely on the dimension of thinking. That is why humans are addicted to thought. The whole species is addicted to thought, and overthinking is such a big problem because we are trying to find ourselves in thought. In that vain hope, we go round and round and round in thoughts and recirculating that same thought and somehow playing the game of thought. This game has to stop, and it can only stop when we look at our thoughts. Once we start realizing, I don't know, I really don't know. It is such a powerful experience when we really realize I don't know. Not as an intellectual gymnastics, but when the realization dawns, it is so phenomenal. We feel, at least I felt, as if lifetimes of burden has fallen off me. And I will sob and I will laugh at the same time. I don't know. It's so lovely and I don't need to know. The purpose of life is not to know. The purpose of life is to dissolve. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa used to say, salt doll went to measure the depth of the ocean. A salt doll, a doll made of salt, walked into the ocean to measure its depth. There is no knowing. There is nothing to know. There is another dimension of life, a completely parallel way to live. There's a beautiful, very brief exchange I had with Swami. And I said, there was something about pure and impure thoughts. And I know in many discourses, Swami has said, pure thoughts, what kind of thoughts we have. And that is one way of looking at it. But in that interview, Swami said, what pure and impure thoughts? thought itself is impure. I was like, wow. Thought itself is impure, Swami said. So the very fact that we have to rely on thought and take it as the only way to live. Now, for those of us who have not tasted the divine, we won't even know that there is another possibility, a completely different way of living, where thinking is not necessary at all. And thought can be used as and when required, like how I can use this hand as and when required. Imagine if this hand develops an intelligence of its own, and it starts doing its own thing. It starts hitting me. It starts functioning. Does this hand of any use to me? Not only is this not of use to me, it's dangerous. Mind is like that. It's an organ. It's a subtle organ. I can switch it off at will. I can switch it on at will. It's tremendously useful. It's creative. It's imaginative. It can create a universe. But if it starts to get a momentum of its own, and then it's just mental diarrhea. So thinking is not the problem. Unconscious, compulsive thinking is the problem. That goes when we turn our attention within. Now, there are many, many ways of doing it. Very briefly, because she asked the question. Again, this usually with my students, when I do this, what I'm going to say in the next 2 to 3 minutes takes about 3 to 4 hours to create that energy. But some of you may be very, very ready. So maybe you need only 2 minutes. So it is just this. When I ask somebody, who are you? If I ask Ramya, who are you? She's going to say, oh, I'm Ramya. Oh, okay. That's the first thing. That's just a name. It's just a sound. And then if I dig deeper, she'll say, oh, I live here, and this is my family, and this is where I work. Okay, that's the place you work. This is the people you live with, and this is, but who are you? Oh, who are you? This is me. Can you not see me? This is me. Can you not see? Oh, I'm sitting here, blue sari, curly hair. This is me. That's the body. The body is changing. It is not the same what it was 5 years ago. It is not even the same what it was yesterday. We don't see the change, but it is changing. All the time the body is changing. So, I'm not the body. Oh, but then I have dislikes and dislikes. I'm a very kind woman. I am this, I am that. Okay, those are likes and dislikes. Those are thoughts you're having. Thoughts, we see thoughts, we perceive thoughts. They come and go, they change. So I'm not my thought. Oh, then I'm my feeling. I'm feeling happy. I feel devoted. I feel gratitude. I feel sad. But again, emotions come, emotions go. Who am I? Who am I? When we keep questioning like that, we finally come to the clear, even intellectual conviction that the most fundamental knowing of ourselves is simply I. All I can say about myself is I am. What Swami said, I am. I'm just existing. I know that I am. That is undeniable. Before I say I am this or that, I am man or woman, I am good or bad, I am ABC or XYZ. Before I say that, first I have to say I am. And before that, I have to say I. When we turn our attention back to this I-ness, something phenomenally beautiful begins to happen.
Thank you, Sanjay, beautifully explaining the Panchakoshas and the Panchadashi. You indirectly put the analysis of Vedantic analysis. It is said that, what you are aware, you are not that, right? And then also, mind is compared to stomach, as you are explaining. It wants more and more food, it's hungry again and again. But in our spiritual journey, for all of us, in the ordinary world, what is the first prerequisite for the self-inquiry that Swami taught you and you are telling? And what is the easy way to do the self-inquiry? If you can elaborate for the benefit of all of us, it will be great.
There is no prerequisite. There is absolutely no prerequisite. We're hearing this now. We can be doing it now. If you think there is a prerequisite, there is a prerequisite. There is no reality except the one we choose to believe in. If I believe Oh, I have to have done so much tapas and so much preparation, and then I become capable of self-inquiry. And first, these are the steps, these are the prerequisites for meditation. There is only one prerequisite: willingness. That is why the Brahma Sutras start with the word Athato Brahma Jignasa. Athato means now, then. It's suggestive that there is a prerequisite. But the prerequisite is not actually a prerequisite. What the great sage is saying is, are you done with everything? Ho gaya sab, all done. Are you ready? Are you ready? Now, are you here and now? Have you attended to all that needs to be attended? It is like me telling, please make all your phone calls. Are you all done? Can we start the talk? Can you now put your phones on silent? But that is not a prerequisite. That is just becoming available to this moment. It is not a prerequisite to attend the talk, but I might say, please, if you have still do something, please do. Please drink your glass of water, and now let's all be here. That is what the Guru is saying. Athato, all you've done, you tried everything, sab ho gaya. Now let us start the inquiry into self. Athato Brahma Jigna. So I will, just in the interest of time, I will actually tell you a meditation, how it can be done. Okay. This is a 5-second meditation. Nobody can ever say, I don't have 5 seconds in my life. Not even presidents and prime ministers of nations. 5 seconds. Be with my words. Okay? For a moment, just for a moment, assume everything in your life, outside and inside, is absolutely perfect. Now, nobody's life is perfect. At least the mind won't believe. But just for this moment, now, tell yourself, everything outside and inside is just the way it should be. It is perfect, which means there is nothing left for me to do. I don't have to move my little finger anymore because everything is just as it should be. In this, you tell yourself, in this moment, all that I am lacking is that I don't know myself. And so the first point is you tell your mind everything is perfect. Second, you say, the only thing that is lacking right now, the only thing that is lacking in my life is in this moment is I don't know who I am. And third thing is, to know who I am, I have only this moment. If this moment is gone, I will never know who I am. There is just this moment. With this, now, right now, turn your attention and simply, with all the involvement that we can muster, right now, say, I. That's all. Now, if you think this is sounding simple and funny, do it for 3 weeks and then just see. I am not even asking you to still your mind, control your thoughts. Mind should be still, no vikaras, nothing. Live your life, do what you are doing. Whatever, doesn't matter. No prerequisites. Just one moment, turn your attention to the I thought. But how you should turn? With such a completeness, the mind should turn 1 second. It should say one time, I. How? As if everything inside and outside is perfect. All that is lacking right now is to know myself. And this is the only moment that there is. If this moment goes, I will never know who I am. And that is really true because the self-realization doesn't happen in time. It happens only in this moment. It literally, if this moment goes, there is no other moment. With that attention, if we can collapse our attention, integrate it to this moment, look at the I thought for 1 second. I. And if you have to do this again, do multiple 1 second meditations. Don't tell yourself, I am now going to sit for half an hour in meditation. Then again, the mind will start playing all kinds of games. Instead of half an hour meditation, say, I'm going to keep doing this 1 second meditation again and again and again. 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. Try it and then see the magic.
Thank you. Yeah, it is said like, continuous nididhyasana. It's called Atma Yoga or something like that. Like you need to pursue persistently. That's when you get it, whatever happens. Thank you. Ramya, you want to take the next question? Ramya, you are on mute.
Thank you. So we have a question from one of our YouTube listeners. So the question is, in bringing him closer to you, was there a technique or techniques that worked for you more than others? And can you share that for everyone's benefit?
Yeah. So Swami created situations in my life where all hope disappeared. So in Upanishads, there is I don't know which Upanishad there, but there is a statement: utter hopelessness is total bliss. And when there is nowhere to turn to, you turn inward. And the technique, there are primarily in my sadhana, I have used 4 techniques over the years. Each of those 4 techniques is a complete process in itself. That is, even anybody follows even one of those 4 techniques is enough. They're so complete. But at different points in my life, different times in my life, I experimented and worked fairly intensively with these 4 techniques. Now, it is a little difficult to explain all the 4. One is to use the inner energy of the body to go beyond the form. One is to question the thoughts, every disturbing thought in a certain way. There is a process for it. How do you question and see beyond thought? Third is to coming to this moment. And the 4th, which is my favorite, which I have worked most with, is self-inquiry, which is to stay with who I am deeply. Come to this moment, bring all your attention to simply who I am, and keep coming back to the I thought. Now, I know I'm putting it very simply, and it indeed is even simpler than how I'm explaining. If you're ready, if you're willing, that is all you need to do. Do it for 3 months and then get back to me if it doesn't work. I guarantee you, if you do it for 3 months, something dramatic or something extremely beautiful will blossom inside. Guarantee. This work cannot fail. It has never failed. So the technique is just this: bring your attention back to simply the I thought. Now, thoughts will come, so many thoughts, distracting thoughts. As a thought occurs, ask yourself, who is getting this thought? I am getting this thought. Who am I? Come back to the I. I'm not getting this. I don't know what Sanjay was saying. This is so useless. Who says so? I say so. Come back to the I. I'm not getting this. Who is not getting it? I am. Come back to the I. This is so frustrating. To whom? To me. Come back to the I. Do not allow the attention to run away with any thought or any emotion or anything. Keep coming back. Keep coming back. And when you really start to meditate, I will give you a small tip. Right now, one may not get it, but if you actually start meditating, if you allow, thoughts, if you see thoughts come, we all think in a certain language. Like I think in English. Somebody may think in Tamil, somebody may think in Telugu, Hindi, or French or whatever. Your meditation should be so perfect that if a thought comes, you should not allow your mind to finish that sentence. And I'm actually saying it. If you finish that sentence, the mind finishes the sentence, you move away from meditation. So if you're doing, this is not working. Stop. Come back to the I. The moment you finish a sentence, mind has latched on to a meaning. A complete sentence has a meaning. The moment mind receives a meaning, it receives food, and then it starts its journey. Do not allow, such should be the focus, ekagrita of sadhana, that one should not allow to complete a thought. And thought comes in forms of sentences. Do not physically, intellectually, mentally, do not complete the sentence. The sentence starts, such should be our mindfulness in the initial stages of meditation. A sentence begins to form, stop, come back. Any meditation. It need not only be self-inquiry. I also did a lot of Gayatri chanting in a couple of years of my life. So much that I would just get up from sleep in the middle of the night and I'll start saying Om Bhur Bhuswa. And before something happens, a mosquito will bite me. I'll get up, Om Bhur Bhuswa. And then I'll say, oh, so, I also did for 1 or 2 years, a lot of Gayatri chanting. That is also fantastic. Great. That mantram has great energy. So anything, even that, if you're sitting and chanting Gayatri mantram, it is the same. The involvement should be so much that the mind should not be allowed to even complete a thought. Before it completes a thought, creates a meaning and associations, turn it back inside and keep it at this. This is the only prerequisite. Willingness, interest in my spiritual journey more than the stories of the mind.
Thank you, Sanjay. So we have another couple of questions here. What is the spiritual practice that has been most useful to you in progressing on the spiritual path? Also, was it difficult to not attend darshan after 2009?
Yes, it was difficult. For 6 months or so, it was very difficult. And I used to sneak still into some darshans now and then, and I sit and or I stand outside the Kulwant hall, not of compulsion, but because Swami said so. It was difficult, but it was necessary, and it was such a great gift that Swami gave me. So yes, it was definitely something that you've done for 7 years of your life, literally every day. In fact, even when Swami won't be in Parthi, we'll always be where Swami is. If Swami is in Vrindavan, we'll be in Vrindavan. If Swami is in Kodaikanal, we'll be in Kodaikanal. And those 7 years, wherever Swami traveled, I traveled with him. So it was tough, very tough. But it was very beautiful in a way, in another way. And my spiritual method has always been, it's been my way. Probably, I don't know, maybe this is how I have been practicing for a few lifetimes. I don't know why, but I was very naturally drawn to the process of self-inquiry. So yeah, that has been, self-inquiry is basically coming back to who you are truly. That has been what has been the really the technique. I don't know, it's a technique, but that is what has been the support of my spiritual journey. That is what Swami guided me also towards in his words and actions. And that is what really gave me everything. So yes, that has been the journey.
Yeah, thank you. There are a couple of more questions, Ramya.
Yeah, go. So I think there's a question here. So I think the question asks, when were you appointed as the deputy systems manager? Was this after Swami left his physical form? And I think part of this question, I think, relates to the previous one. It says, how did you pick yourself up? I think, how did you kind of progress and proceed after Swami left his physical form?
Okay. So yes, it was post 2011. Swami said, wait, I will tell you. 2008, December, he said, wait, I will tell you. I waited 2009, 2010, 2011, 2.5, 3 years, and Swami left. And he didn't tell me. That is Swami. He said, wait, I will tell you. And he didn't tell me. He packed his bag and left. So 2011, well, I had to take a job now. Something had to be done. So I took the job. SSIHL offered me. They weren't willing to offer me for that, whatever reasons. There was no faculty position. So they offered me this technical position, deputy manager systems. I did that for 3 years. 2014, I became a full-time faculty. That's what has happened. And how did I pick myself up? I don't want to sound flamboyant or rude, but I never really felt the need to pick myself up. I never missed Swami at all. I don't know what this means to you. I'm sorry if my statement sounds insensitive, but I did not miss him for a day. There was nothing to miss. There was nothing to miss at all. I don't know. He's here right now. There's nothing to miss. Whenever I have needed him, he has been there. Whenever I have looked to him, I see him looking at me. He's always there. So, no, I just never missed him. I did not miss him. I wept for about half an hour. I sobbed when he first heard the news at around 6:30 a.m. early morning on that day. We knew some news is there, so we all went to the Kulwant Hall, and 6:30 or something, pretty early, or 7:30. I don't remember. Anil Kumar sir came to the mic and announced, and yeah, for half an hour, it was a bit of a shock. But no, there was no missing.
Thank you so much, Brother Sanjay. It's we could really go on forever with this. It's so fascinating. But I think we will ask one last question, and then I will ask Dr. Veda Vishwanathan to give the vote of thanks for a wonderful session. And really, the last question has to do with a lot of times these discussions come up as to sometimes this path of self-inquiry is too high, quote unquote. And so it is not always the most, always thought to be, I would say, the most practical things, the path, which is what some, is a topic that comes up for discussion on a not infrequent basis. So I wonder if you would just share with us some of your insights into what the benefits have been to you of this path of self-inquiry. And, as a corollary, I guess why Swami emphasizes that so much for each one of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful question. Thank you. One day in the interview room, there was some discussion about the difference between Bhakti Marga and Jnana Marga, the path of devotion and the path of wisdom. And Swami said, I quote, "Those who see a difference between the Bhakti Marga and the Jnana Marga, those people do not understand either. If you knew any one of these paths well, you will know that both are same." Why? We think Bhakti Marga means ability to get up and one day say, "Swami, I love you, I love you, love you" 5 times a day. Or make an annual trip to Parthi Yatra and hold placards and say, "Swami, I love you." Or no, or to say wonderful things like, "Swami is the head of this house and he's sitting with me at our dining table." Devotion is such a subtle principle. It is such a complete giving of oneself. A devotee always, not as a one-time declaration in their life, but an every moment redeclaration and rededication to say, "Not me, you." Everything that is valuable to me, everything that I think I am, and I'm holding on to. In fact, it's a beautiful one sentence Swami once said to me in a certain context. He said, "I am not interested in the 99 things that you have given up for me. My interest is in only that one thing that you are still holding on to." Meditate on this sometime later. I am not interested. Okay, 99 things you've given up. I'm not even looking at them. My attention is not on one thing that you're still not giving up or holding on to. So devotion is a complete giving up of the me and the mine, and giving it up at the altar of the divine, driven by love. It is a complete denial of the lower self in love. What is self-inquiry? Looking at all that what I am not and completely dedicating yourself to the higher divine principle within by continuously bringing attention back to who I am truly. It is exactly the same. And if we begin to think devotion is easy, because we don't know what is devotion. But in my limited exposure and experience, devotion is dangerous, because in devotion, so-called devotion, it is very easy to fool oneself. Please look around you. The kind of things people do in the name of devotion. But you can't fool yourself in self-inquiry. You know, the mind is silent, it is silent. It's not silent, it is not silent. There is no fooling around. There is no delusion. Devotions can become sentimentality. And it is very easy to, slip into sentimentality and to call oneself a devotee. But if you are inquiring into who you are, it's actually a little more safe. You're there or you're not there. There is no fooling around. Having said that, if you see all Swami's discourses, the thousands of discourses, some 4,000-5,000 published discourses of primarily Swami's method were only two. Thousands of times he has said, who am I? Find out who am I. And he has bhakti, devotion. That's it. These are the really, I know he has talked about seva and all that, but as a methodology to merge, to feel intimacy with Swami always spoke of either devotion or self-awareness. So, but it is really important to know that there is really no difference, because both start with who I am not. Both start with giving up the me. You give up the me out of love, or you give up the me out of awareness. Both start by not me, not this, not I, not me, not mine. Only then devotion can even start. So you do that driven by a certain emotional alignment, or we do it with loving awareness. That is all. There's really very less difference. Without love and devotion, self-inquiry is impossible. Without a certain sense of self-realization, true devotion is impossible. So, and it doesn't mean those who do self-inquiry don't have. There are days I weep for Swami, when tears flow. You just listen, suddenly you see a video of Swami, like, wow, you're silent. So it is really not that compartmentalized. It's not the one, this is my path, that is my path. There is no such thing. There is no path. Okay. How do you reach where you are? How do you reach where you are now? How much time does it take to be now? No time, no space. It's here now. This realization comes out of love or awareness. It's all the same. It's just a story we tell ourselves.
Thank you so much. Can't say anything more.
I will just wind up with this small thing that
Yes.
If you are really committed, and let me say, I mean, all of us are committed, but if you really want to explore this much more deeply, then anybody can reach out to me, and only if you're truly committed, not for theoretical discussions about this or that, but only my email can be taken from any of these 6 people on the Zoom call. You can share. If anybody reaches out to you, you can share, and we can see what can be done.
Thank you so much, Sanjay. It was just an amazing session. Thank you. And I am going to call on Dr. Veda Vishwanathan to offer the vote of thanks, following which we'll have just a few bhajans and then closing prayers. Once again, thank you so much. Veda?
Sairam. It is a very unique and pleasant privilege for me to thank Swami, and through him, you, Brother Sanjay, for such a wonderful talk on self-awareness. I'm giving the heading for the topic. You started with the vital air, and you instructed everybody to be mindful of mindlessness, which is the first spiritual practice. And by recalling Swami hugging you and saying that he was waiting for you, you made everybody realize that we are all his belongings and should be worthy of being useful for his purposes at all times. And thirdly, by recalling your dream, which had come true in interview room by offering the water to him, you said that we should be receptive to his words in all states of mind. both in dream and what we think as real life. And by that act alone, you said, it is enough just to simply follow his words. That will lead us to realize that I am I. And you beautifully started from the formless vital air in your talk to lead to who Swami is, the formless I am I. And it cannot be more befitting to follow the Vedic culture. You said, I thank my Guru for giving me this. And Guru always has to be appreciated in the sadhas, which you did on this very holy, auspicious birthday of Bhagavan. We thank you. Normally, I would have said from the bottom of my heart, but I would like to take the message from you, from the throne of Bhagavan here. We would like to offer our sincere thanks for sharing your experiences. Jai Sai Ram.
Sai Ram Ghanashyam Bhagavan Tumhara Naam. 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 तुम्ह बिन कोई नहीं रखवाले, तुम 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 बिन कोई नहीं आपा संभाले, तुम बिन कोई नहीं आपत संभाले, तुम बिन कोई नहीं आपत संभाले, तुम बिन कोई नहीं आपत संभाले, तुम बिन प्रेम कोई नहीं देने वाले, 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 तुम हो मेरे आत्मा राम भगवान, तुम हो मेरे आत्मा राम भगवान, तुम हो मेरे आत्मा राम भगवान, तुम हो मेरे आत्मा राम भगवान। साई राम तुम्हारा नाम, साई राम तुम्हारा नाम, भगवान तुम्हारा नाम, भगवान तुम्हारा नाम। साई राम घनश्याम भगवान तुम्हारा नाम, साई राम घनश्याम भगवान तुम्हारा नाम। तुम बिन कोई नहीं रखवाले, तुम बिन कोई नहीं रखवाले, तुम
शत बार कहो रे साई राम साई राम साई राम साई राम शत बार कहो रे साई राम साई राम साई राम साई राम हे मंगल नयनारा हे गोपी जीवनाशा हे मंगल नयनारा हे गोपी जीवनाशा हे शिरडी के भगवान हे प्रशांति निलया हे शिरडी के भगवान हे प्रशांति निलया शत कोटि नमन साई राम शत कोटि नमन साई राम साई राम साई राम साई साई राम साई राम साई हे मंगल नयनारा हे गोपी जीवनाशा हे शिरडी के भगवान हे प्रशांति निलया शत कोटि नमन साई साई राम साई राम साई साई राम साई राम साई शत बार कहो रे साई राम साई राम साई राम साई
साई नाम बोलो गोविंद नाम बोलो
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 महादेव बोलो जय पांडुरंग बोलो
महादेव बोलो जय पांडुरंग
साई नाम बोलो गोविंद नाम बोलो
साई नाम बोलो गोविंद नाम बोलो
राम कृष्ण बोलो जय बुद्ध साई 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 बोलो
सौराष्ट्र महावीर येशु 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 साई बोलो
अल्लाह साई बोलो मौला 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 साई बोलो
प्रेम साई शांतिदाई सत्य 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 साई बोलो
साई नाम बोलो गोविंद नाम बोलो
साई नाम बोलो गोविंद नाम बोलो
महादेवा बोलो जय पांडुरंगा बोलो
महादेव बोलो जय पांडुरंग बोलो
साई नाम बोलो गोविंद नाम बोलो
साई नाम बोलो गोविंद नाम बोलो
राम कृष्ण बोलो जय बुद्ध साई बोलो
राम कृष्ण बोलो जय बुद्ध साई बोलो
सौराष्ट्र महावीर येशु साई बोलो
सौराष्ट्र महावीर येशु साई बोलो
अल्लाह साई बोलो मौला 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 साई बोलो
प्रेम साई शांतिदाई सत्य 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 साई बोलो
गोविंद बोलो गोपाल 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 बोलो
प्रेम साई शांतिदाई सत्य साई बोलो
We rejoice, we rejoice, we rejoice in your name. We rejoice, we rejoice, we rejoice in your name. Oh, Baba, sweet Baba, without you we are none. Oh, Baba, sweet Baba, with you we
नारायण तू पुरुषोत्तम गुरु तू सिद्ध बुद्ध तू स्कंद विनायक सविता पावक तू सविता पावक तू ब्रह्ममत तू यव शक्ति तू येषु पिता प्रभु तू रुद्र विष्णु तू राम कृष्ण तू रहीमताओ तू रहीमताओ तू वासुदेव गोविश्वरूप तू चिदानंद हरि तू अद्वितीय तू अकाल निर्भय आत्मलिंग शिव तू आत्मलिंग शिव तू आत्मलिंग शिव तू
असतो मा सद्गमया तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमया मृत्योर्मा अमृतं शांति शांति शांति
ओम जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्ति महेश्वरा ओम जय जगदीश हरे शिवजना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपते स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते आश्रित तल्पलतीका आश्रित तल्पलतीका आपदानवा ओम जय जगदीश हरे माता पिता गुरुदैवं पर्यन्तयु नीवे स्वामी पर्यन्तयु नीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नागेशा शयन ओम जय जगदीश हरे रूप शिव साई महादेवा सत्य साई महादेवा मंगल आरती अंधुको मंगल आरती अंधुको मंगल गिरिधारी ओम जय जगदीश हरे नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम नारायण नारायण ओम जय जय सद्गुरुदेवा ओम शांति 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 समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु ओम
बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की
जय।
परमं पवित्रं बाबा विभूतिं परमं विचित्रं लीला विभूतिं परमार्थ इष्टार्थ मोक्ष प्रदानं बाबा विभूतिं इदमाश्रयामि बाबा विभूतिं इदमाश्रयामि Sacred miraculous
Baba's creation, flowing from His blessing hands, holy creation, granting us the greatest love, God's divine protection.
Beloved Baba, grant us liberation. Beloved Baba, grant us liberation. Paramam pavitram Baba vibhutim, paramam vichitram leela vibhutim, paramartha ishtartha moksha pradanam Baba vibhutim idamaasayami Baba vibhutim idamaasayami.
ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्।